Like these might be the perfect like pool slide. I just dig them. So like these, this stippling texture underfoot, it reminds me of those shower mats with the little suction cups. If you've ever used any of those, it just has that same kind of tactile feel underfoot and just a similar vibe as the like a shower mat. So I kind of dig that characteristic or that similarity between these and a shower mat, which is kind of cool. All right, we got another shower slide here. This I picked up off of Kohl's when I was rebuying the Under Armour shower slide. They had a few slides that were on sale, so I noticed these. This is the Nike Victory 1 shower slide, and they had them on sale for, I believe, $25. I think the retail is $35. So I figured I'd pick them up and give them a try, because $25 for a video, that's not too bad. They often cost a lot more, but we won't get into all of that. So they were like this tan, I don't know if it says khaki. I think that was the only color that they had that was on sale. And I went with an 11. I'm not sure why. These might be a little small, but I don't have a whole lot of Nike slides, so I don't have a lot of sizing references for Nike. So I just went with the 11s. That might have been the only thing they had in stock with the sale, but so let me read the sales pitch. I'll go to the actual Nike site. I kind of like this this stippled Nike logo. That's cool. These are super light. Let me let me read the pitch off the sales off the Nike website. All right, it is the Nike Victory 1 men's slides, retail for $35. They've got quite a few different colorways on the main website, or on Nike's website, but I think this has been out for a little while. One thing I'm finding, and which is kind of cool about the slide world, if you go to like lots of other random sites that selling a slide, sometimes they have like exclusive colorways for that website, which is kind of cool. So if you're looking for a unique color with this particular slide, you might be able to find it on a different website. All right, enough rambling for now. From the beach to the bleachers, the Victory 1 is a must-have slide for everyday activities. Subtle yet substantial updates like a wider strap and softer foam make lounging easy. Go ahead, enjoy endless comfort on your feet. And that's it. That's all I'm going to read for that. Let's take a look at them. I don't think this video needs to be too long. I always say that, and then a half hour later. So it is a relatively thin footbed. It looks like it's got really good ergos though. Look at that arch. That's kind of impressive. Let me get this light set up a little better. Yeah, that's an impressive arch. Like that's a beefy arch. We've got that channel again in the footbed. I've noticed various slides and various companies incorporating that just simple channel around the footbed. This one, it's a little more, a little narrower on the heel. Usually it just goes around the parameter of the slide. So we've got some stippling texture, some bumps in the center here with the Nike swoosh, some drain holes along that channel. That's kind of nice. That's probably to help with the water and for them to put the holes in the channel. That's pretty good. Those holes are a little crude though. I don't know if you see that. Whatever tool they're using to punch through, it's probably a drill. They're probably going really fast with it. That tends to be a, yeah, you can see there's a little bit of a swirl with that one. The way that skin is, you can see it right there, but then it kind of goes down at an angle. So they're drilling that out. That's a lot of drills right there. I wonder if they have a press that goes through and punches those out. Interesting. Anyways, when you go too fast with the drill, you can usually get like a crappy hole like that. If you go a little slower, then it cleans up a little more. But so anyways, moving forward. So the stippling that they have in this centralized component of the footbed, it varies in size. It gets a little larger with that risen arch. I wonder if, yeah, these are kind of warped a little bit. That's why that arch is looking so substantial. I'm like, why is that so substantial? Because it's, you can see it's warped a little bit. But these are thin enough that it'll flatten out once I get them on foot. The strap is a little loose. Well, not a little loose, but it's thin. They had commented in the description that they made it a little wider. So it's got a little bit of a floppiness to it, but it's not too bad. It's still pretty firm in terms of its, just its structure. You know, it's not collapsing, it's staying open, I guess is my point. And then we got the stippled Nike logo, which kind of goes along with the stippling on the insole. And then there's still those larger pads. So I'm guessing where there's more contact, or actually, let me backtrack. So like the arch of your foot tends to be a little more sensitive than the heel. You know, your heel's a little more callous than the arch, so it makes sense for them to go with a little larger of a stippling texture in the middle, because I could see these smaller bumps being too aggressive on the center of the arch. But they stay larger up front here too. And then we've got those that drainage grid, a lot of drains up there. And then we also have that stippling on the bottom here, which is kind of cool too, that they carried that, because it acts as some traction for your foot, but then it's also the tread on the bottom. So not bad in terms of design. You can see the difference between, let's say like this Nike slide versus the New Balance, how much extra design went into the formation and just the concept of this particular slide versus some of the New Balances that we've looked at in the past. So I just thought that was a kind of an interesting contrast. So there's definitely a lot more work that went into the creation of this slide than that last New Balance slide that we checked out. But bite my tongue, I've got a New Balance slide for us to try out today, I found locally. So speaking of New Balance's lack of ergonomics with their footbed, we'll talk about that with this new slide that I picked up. So back to the Victori one. We've got a seam here from the mold. It's still all one piece. I was thinking that these were different halves that were fused together. That seam is just from the injection mold, I've since discovered. We've got some sizing on the inside here too. There's a little bit of an edge around the opening of the toe box, but it's not too much. It's not too aggressive. And there's a little bit of an edge around there's not really much of a cup, but just the top of the heel too. It's got a little bit of a ridge line, but it's pretty clean though. It's not real messy at all. There's a little bit there, a little bit of skin there, but that's cleaned up pretty well. So quality control is pretty decent on these. All right, I think that's all. Look at how big that injection point is. That's a very meaty hole. They are cranking these out fast. I imagine the larger the injection hole, the faster they can fill these slides. So that's one thing that I was thinking about regarding the quality control of a lot of these slides. They're being done in like a production line. So the people that are in charge of the kind of finalizing them, they might not have a lot of time to do so. If they're coming, you know, they might only have 30 seconds to finish these slides before the next one is in their hand. So that might be part of the reason why some of these slides don't have a very good quality control about them. Not implying that these are them, but I was just thinking about that the other day, just within my own work. When you're doing manufacturing, the manufacturer doesn't always give you ample time that you need to do the work that you're assigned to do. All right, let's throw these on foot. I don't think I have anything else I need to say in hand. And we'll try to keep the flow of the video going forward and not get hung up on anything for too long. So throw them on foot. All right, with the shift of lighting, I notice all the creases in the top of this strap. These have been worn a few times and either returned or I don't know. I picked these up in store. I ordered them online on the Kohl's website, but I had to pick them up in the store. It saved me some money on shipping. But I noticed all the creases in the top strap. So that tells me that someone has already tried these on a few times. So just top down at a glance, the width is actually pretty decent. I've got the infinity slides next to them, which are probably one of the widest slides that I own. And I really dig that with the infinity slides, and putting them next to these infinity, or what are these called? Victory. These Victory slides. The width is pretty good. I thought these were going to be super narrow. So the sizing is right. I also thought these were going to be too short, with them being 11s. I was talking about my lack of sizing reference for Nike, but the 11s are good on these. So I think if you're on a half size, going down is a good sizing recommendation. All right, so one of the interesting things about these slides, and I noticed that when I was looking at the outsole to it, or the bottom. If you remember that New Balance that we were just looking at, and how they had these big channels cut out of the bottom, and how it created this, in the New Balance, it was just up the center, and then they had some weird, kind of not weird, but just diagonal grooves cut too. And with that center being hollowed out, I was getting this collapsing effect as I was stepping on them, and those really didn't have much of a ergonomic support to begin with. So with the center collapsing on top of it, it just made them even worse. So these have this same kind of cutout channel going on the bottom. So I'm getting a bit of a collapsing effect happening, which helps with the just the squish factor. And it's mainly on the heel. It isn't really anywhere else in the slide, but it's done right. It just makes the heel squish better. Like, it's not destroying the structural ergonomics or the integrity of the footbed by having that in there. It's done right, and it's aiding to the cushion effect with the heel, which is, it's very nice, very nice. And then too, like, that arch is so prominent. Like, I still have good arch support in these, just standing in them. So even though we've got that hollow in the bottom, they're still keeping like a good ergonomic structure to them. So it's just, I guess it's all where you put it. So that's done right. Up the center, in the middle, not so much. Not so much New Balance, but Nike did it right. All right, so these are pretty comfy. Just standing in them. I'm liking that texture on foot too. Here, let me, since these are shower slides, let me take a sock off. We'll do one with sock, one barefoot. So that texture isn't too aggressive. And like, they're not too tight with socks either, so these could be worn as kind of a casual all-purpose slide on top of being like a water shower slide. So, because some slides, they fit so tight, like, you can't wear them with socks, you know. All right, let's do a little walking. All right, I might have to start doing this. Do like a 1 foot barefoot and the other foot with a sock, and then I can get that variable kind of discussed too in the videos of how they fit, like barefoot versus with socks, you know? We might have just evolved the process, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so the walking characteristic of these is very comfortable. I'm still getting that kind of compression under the heel. The arch is still maintaining. The foam is nice and soft, so I'm getting some good compression. There's not a whole lot of compression towards the front of the slide, but that's not really necessary. I mean, there's still enough there needed, like under the ball of the foot, but I mean, most of the compression is needed like kind of in the heel where it's happening with these slides. So these are pretty well designed. I'm kind of impressed so far. And the arch is still maintaining support, so that's very good. I'm gonna keep these. Let me clip this tag. One thing I do notice, the slide versus, or I mean the sock versus the barefoot, is there's a little more slippage going on within the slide as I walk. Excuse me again. Just the sock isn't like gripping to the slide like my barefoot is, understandably so. Foam tends to kind of get a little tacky and stick to the foot, which helps with keeping them on foot. But that's just one thing. There's a little bit of a shifting happening with the sock foot versus the barefoot. But other than that, the characteristic is pretty much the same. I can barely feel that texture more on the barefoot versus the socked foot. It's pretty equal from one to the other. All right, let's see what the hair is doing today. All kinds of stuff. So yeah, these are good. Like even just as a general wear slide, these are pretty comfy. A little bit of a separation from the heel. It's not coming up as much as some of the others. A little more separation, but they still feel pretty sporty. That strap is nice and taut. It's holding onto the foot pretty well. So they're coming up a little better on the barefoot version. I wonder if it's grabbing that strap with the bare skin better and pulling it up more, like on the top, you know. But yeah, these are pretty good. I don't know how, like as far as a like a walking slide, these feel a little low to the ground. Like there's not a whole lot of protection underfoot. Like if you watch my top 5, that was one of my major selling points with this this Puma slide, is how tall it is, and like how much confidence underfoot I have, like walking out and about with these. With these Victories being so kind of low and thin in the midsole, like I don't know how well these would be or how confident I'd be like walking around, like taking the dogs for a walk, for example, in these. But also too, with them being thinner, is your center of gravity is a lot lower and you're a little lower to the ground. So if you're walking on slick surfaces, that's probably a better thing. I don't know if being high like the Puma, like this Nitro Cat, is like a really positive if you're walking in like slick surfaces. Granted, these do have a rubber outsole, but I'm getting off topic. So, but that's just something about these being a little lower to the ground. It might not be the best walking around slide, but they're probably better on like slick surfaces. Just not being too tall, but all right, a little supplemental footage. I've been wearing these lately a little bit for shower usage, and I have a little more feedback on them to complete the video. I was just editing them and I realized I have some more thoughts I wanted to add to them. So these are pretty good. I'm kind of, I don't know if I like them better than the Under Armour. They feel a little more refined in their design. They've got a little more style going on to them. Like these might be the perfect like pool slide. I just dig them. So like these, this stippling texture underfoot, it reminds me of those shower mats with the little suction cups. If you've ever used any of those. It just has that same kind of tactile feel underfoot and just a similar vibe as like a shower mat. So I kind of dig that characteristic or that similarity between these and a shower mat, which is kind of cool. That arch is very prominent. I wore them the other day after work showering, and my feet tend to swell up a little bit standing on concrete for 12 hours in my work boots, and the arch was a little prominent then. It was a little too much, but typically it's fine. Just like on a day off when I wear them to shower, the arch isn't too much. So something just to keep in mind. And it does kind of compress once it warms up a little bit with the water. It almost had like a springboard effect when I first got them because it was warped a little bit, but that's kind of diminished over the few days I've worn them. And I think that's it. I think that's everything I wanted to say about them. They do pretty good with water. But yeah, I just wanted to add that footage in. So these are good. I'm digging these. Digging these. All right, I think I've said all I needed to. I just feel like I'm rambling at this point. So we will wrap this up. These are pretty solid. These are getting kept. They are keepers. Good job, Nike. So thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. We got more lined up. So yeah, check them out. Thanks. See you in the next one. Cheers.